the one thing that, we've been able to see, or I've been able to realize at this point, is the things that I wish for or the things that I wanted don't always get me what I think it will. Right. So, I can wish that things had turned out a different way in the past. And like you're saying, it's likely that those would have had different outcomes and possible negative outcomes as well. So, I try not to spend a whole lot of time there now. And as you're talking about it, I was thinking to myself, like, do I still do that? Do I still, wish for a better past? And I think that I can still get sucked into, well, I wish this was different. I wish that was different, especially when, I can have conversations with my parents and they might say things like, oh, I wish we would have instilled a more active mentality in you guys when we were, raising you, or things like that. And then it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's your fault of fact.
How come you didn't do that, And then I kind of fall into it all over again. But you're absolutely right. Like, it doesn't mean that I would have done what I would have done with it now.
Right.
Then, it likely would have not had that outcome that I expected it would. But the self-confidence for me is a big one, because I struggle with that today. I struggle with that now. And so it's not like I wish I would have had more self-confidence growing up. It's like, I wish I had more self-confidence now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that that's a better way for me to look at things, is like, well, where am I at now? Mm-hmm. What's happening now? Like, what can I do about the very now,
Yeah.
But the past is tricky, dude. Like, it really took me a long time, especially in recovery, to get to a point where, like, I accepted some of the things that had occurred and that had happened, and my life up to that point. Because, I spent a lot of years hating myself and hating everything about how I was living life. Yeah. And so that's not something that changes overnight. Like, yeah, I can discontinue the drugs and alcohol, and as a result will likely cease doing a lot of the things that I hate myself for, but my brain is still going to find something, because that's just what it's used to doing. Like, it's used to finding something to dwell in, so that I have enough self-pity so that I'll go back to what works to drown or numb those feelings. And so, that was something that I had to navigate, that I still have to navigate today, is, hey, just because I'm thinking this doesn't make it true. And of course I'm thinking that way because I'm an addict and alcoholic. And I think that there had to be a certain level of acceptance that happened in me of just that notion alone. Like, obviously I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, I can't use drugs, I cannot drink. And once I accepted that that was not the solution, it became easier to sort of go back and accept the things that had occurred in a healthy and constructive way. And so it led me to a better option of dealing with those negative emotions. And eventually, I was able to get to a point where I could see the benefit in the things that had happened to me.
Yeah.
And that really came out of self-love. Like, once I was able to, like, start liking myself, I was like, well, hey, I wouldn't be this person if it wasn't for those things. And so there has to be some benefit that was gained in that instance. So,
yeah,
I mean, the past is what it is, but we get to use it today, or at least I get to use it today as a tool,